So sorry if it's been a while since the uploads, but let us get right to it. But, sadly, some people passed away. So, what is the big news? Well, there's a lot of speculation in the brand new trailer for Brand New Day, no pun intended, that we're hearing Keith David. So, there's been a lot of speculation on him having a role in Brand New Day. We should be clear, these can be separate things. Namely, he did some voice work, did the voiceover. He's not going to be in the film. He's not playing a character in the film. So this is a lot of speculation, And be forewarned that there are already, no, I put the number at like 8 villains, I think, although I could go back and double check. So it's quite a few characters are going to show up on the villain side. The way it seems like they're going to resolve this is a huge amount of the villains will be in a montage at the very beginning, and we won't see them for the rest of the film, but they will be there. So, again, it could be Keith David will be part of this montage. But let's go with the speculation. So there's 3 major possibilities. One of them sounds pretty weird, but that he will be playing the Lizard. Not full-on Lizard, but essentially he'll be playing Kurt Connors. And I didn't feel comfortable with the Metzger role being played by a black man. Canonically, he's white in the comics, although, again, it's a minor character. I think, again, if they do go with this version, again, unfortunately, the scale is we have the Tasm Lizard, and that was just stupid and terrible. Also, the white man did not look like Kurt Connors at all, so it's kind of 0 for 0. Now, the Raimi films, to be fair, did feature Kurt Connors, but they ultimately didn't really do anything with that character, so there we go. So at this point, the Lizards and Kurt Connors are a little bit all over the place. So if they go with Keith David as the Lizard, it's not the worst decision. But again, I'm nervous because this is feeling more and more like sponge cake. I mean, now the story seems to be all over the place. Like, why did Kurt Connors appear now? Don't know. But there will be a time jump in Brand New Day. Everyone seems to be converging on that. So there will be a bit of a leap. We can take for granted Spider-Man has had some more experience, right? So if he met Connors off camera, they have a relationship. Okay, I guess. And good or bad, they seem to be working with the idea that Spider-Man will be mutated. And again, Kurt Connors knows biology, so you can see the threads coming together. But still, this is still quite a lot of characters to fit it. Again, if he's playing the Lizard. The other possibility is he's playing the Jackal. Now, why does that matter? Well, it's a little confusing because the Jackal story is really tied to Gwen Stacy, right? In the comics, he becomes obsessed with Gwen Stacy, and that leads to a whole train of events, including the Clone Saga, which is easily one of the worst Spider-Man storylines of all time. Pretty much destroyed the character for me. It just made me give up Spider-Man comics. I don't have fond memories of the Jackal. The Jackal as a character is fine in principle, and here's where, again, this seems very plausible because we have the Punisher. Now, again, in the comics, it went backwards. Here, the way they did it, it's like, oh, we have the Punisher. So it's the Punisher's Punisher. Now we're getting the Jackal. Unless they're going to do some radical retcon in a flashback. But in the comics, actually, the Jackal hired the Punisher. And there we go. So the origin of the Punisher is tied to the Jackal. Okay, so you can see the threads coming together, but it's still a little confusing. But finally, they have the third possibility, and this is probably the worst one. And if you saw Madame Web, we've seen this character, and the idea is that Keith David will be Ezekiel. Why Ezekiel? I guess because Ezekiel is kind of this supernatural or above it all character. And Keith David has specialized in those characters that are very ominous. They're sort of a little out there. So he could be Ezekiel. I mean, again, if they're going to go with the comics, that could be really weird. Again, I appreciate what they tried to do with Madame Web, but it just didn't work. Like, there are certain scenes which didn't really add to anything where we're seeing his feet, because in the comics, Ezekiel is barefoot. All right, there we go. Do you want to see Keith David bearing his feet? Oh, man, I don't know. So obviously they're going to make some changes. I hope they do. And again, this is the MCU. This is Sony. So they could do some really weird things. mixing and matching the characters, where now the Jackal is the Lizard and the Lizard is the Jackal, or Ezekiel is the Jackal and the Jackal is Ezekiel. Doesn't make any sense at all, but hey, they've done similar tricks where it's like, oh, we thought it was one character, turned out to be the other character. And some of them were just really lame. Again, I actually liked where they went with it, but I'm like, really? Like, for instance, when, which I don't even see what was a big deal here, but Wanda became the Scarlet Witch. She was plain old Wanda. Now she's Witch. Even though she had the witch powers before, but whatever. So I just gave her a new title, and now she's a brand new character. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have something. Kurt Connors becomes the Jackal. The Jackal takes on the name Ezekiel. I don't know. Anyway, so those are the three major candidates. But at this point, we really don't know. But a lot of people are confident the Jackal will show up. Again, I just wonder how in the world are they going to juggle all these characters? Because, again, I can't even name all of them. There's just too many. So we're going to have Boomerang. We have Tarantula. We have Tombstone. We have the Scorpion. Allegedly, we're going to have 8-Ball. And then we still have more characters to go. We haven't even gotten to Jean Grey or the Punisher or the Hulk. So this is a lot. This is a lot. Also, where are we going with this? Because Doomsday allegedly will reset the button on most things. So will anything be affected by this? Will it just be what it is, a nice sideshow, just a lot of characters, and then just going to disappear? Or will this have consequences? Because it seems like they're leaning towards merging the Spider-Man and Daredevil universes, right? That's why we have Tombstone, right? We're getting back into the Mob, supervillains working with the Mob, so on and so forth. And I guess Jackal could help bridge this gap, I guess. And we have the Hand, and the Hand has fought Daredevil, okay? Putting the pieces together. But if so, yeah, I don't know. Then certain characters wouldn't really add up or wouldn't help, like Ezekiel wouldn't really help with that story. Neither technically would the Lizard, unless the Lizard starts working for Tombstone. Why? Listen, I do appreciate the cartoon of Spider-Man, but some of the storylines, even there, which I like, were really loopy, bringing the Lizard and the Kingpin into a fight over the time tablet. Why? Don't know. So they've got a lot of places they could go, but I'm very, very nervous. That said, if you don't care about the comics, this will probably be a lot of great fun, just seeing so many different characters and Spider-Man having so many different villains and even some heroes to mix it up with. But yeah, this looks like really incoherent because it just feels like there's just not enough time to have all these characters develop and for all this to come together. But then again, we've got Doomsday coming, and to be fair, if this thing has like 25 characters that they're going to just crunch and squeeze in, Doomsday seems to have like 80 characters. But then again, they have 3 hours. So maybe they will be able to just do it well enough with the edited time they have on this one. Because I'm guessing it's just going to be about 2 hours and 10 minutes? I doubt they're going to do full on 2.5 hours. But there you go. I had a lot of doubts about No Way Home. And again, I don't think it's a great film, but it was enjoyable enough. And they packed in a lot of characters there too. So it can be done, but it does leave you with some very messy results. And there we are. But again, speculation, and Keith David, when asked, just was a little bit evasive. So it could just be he did the voiceover. It stops there. But given the nature of what they do with Sony MCU, he probably will have a role here. Will it be this big as the Lizard, Ezekiel, or some other role? Don't know. But something is brewing. And there we are with Brand New Day.